All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today. Today's webinar is called Turn It Off, Promoting Screen-Free Activities at School, and it is part of Action for Healthy Kids Wednesday Wellness Webinar Series that takes place on the second Wednesday of each month throughout the school year. My name is Carol Muller, and I am the State Director of Action for Healthy Kids in Colorado. And here in Colorado, our team works with schools, districts, and other partners to implement policies and practices to improve nutrition and increase physical activity in schools. I also work with our national organization to develop strategies for engaging parents into school health and wellness efforts. We have a big focus on parent engagement here in Colorado. And for that reason, I'm also really pleased that later in the presentation today, we're going to have two parent champions from Colorado, Loria and Lauren Rigney, joining us to share a screen-free initiative that they led in their children's school. So I'll tell you more about them in just a little while. So let's review some logistics before we get started. You should see a control panel, usually on the right side of your screen, and you can use your telephone or speakers to listen to the presentation, but everybody will be muted to avoid static and background interference. There's a dialog box at the bottom of the control panel. You can type questions into that box as we're going along. And we may have time for questions at the end, but we do have a pretty short amount of time. So if we don't get them answered, we will follow up with you via email following the webinar. It is being recorded, and links to the recording, the slides, and the resources will be sent to you within 2 to 3 business days after the webinar. So first, I'd like to give you just a little background on our organization. Action for Healthy Kids is a national nonprofit, and we fight childhood obesity, undernourishment, and physical inactivity by helping schools to become healthier places. We are a pretty big, strong network of parents and students and educators. We have community leaders and health professionals in with us, and we work with schools and districts across the country to create healthier learning environments for our children. We really feel that everybody has a part to play in ending the nation's childhood obesity epidemic, and we have tons of resources that can help make that possible. So why do we focus on schools? Well, schools do reach most children and adolescents in the community, and kids spend most of their time there, around 1,200 hours per year. And most importantly, healthy kids learn better. For that reason alone, schools really should be addressing healthy eating and physical activity. And today, we're going to talk about decreasing screen time, which relates both to healthy eating and to physical activity. Game On is our flagship program. It's designed as a multi-year program framework to help K-12 schools practice good nutrition and physical activity habits. It's online. There's no cost at all for schools to use it, and it can be tailored to meet your community's specific needs and your own resources. It's organized into 6 steps to guide your school in creating a sound, sustainable school wellness framework. And in step 4, which you see in blue there on the screen, you can find many of the ideas and resources for Screen-Free Week that I'll reference today. So at Action for Healthy Kids, we help our members and supporters learn about the issues, we help them take action in their schools, and we help them work to transform their school cultures. And our goals for today's webinar are that our audience will learn about the impact of excessive screen time and why screen-free activities are so important for a school to take on. And also, we hope that you'll take away some action ideas. How can your school organize Screen-Free Week and promote screen-free activities all year round? Ultimately, our goal is to help you transform your school culture with initiatives like this so that all of your students are healthy, active, and ready to learn. So, what do we mean by screen time? Watching TV, surfing the web, playing with apps and video games on a TV or on a computer. The transformation of the cell phone into a media content delivery device and then the widespread use of MP3 devices have really led to this explosion in media consumption by youth. Screen time can be habit forming. The more time children engage with screens, the harder time they have turning them off as they become older children. And I'm sure that most of you have heard there's more and more talk out there about and more attention focused on internet addiction. So a report by the Kaiser Family Foundation showed that 8 to 18-year-olds consume an average of 7 hours and 11 minutes of screen media per day. That's just an incredible amount, and it's an increase of 2.5 hours in just 10 years. And that doesn't include what they're using for school. And in some of that time, they're actually multitasking, receiving media from multiple channels at the same time. Note that these numbers also don't include talking on the phone or texting, as that would increase the time even more. So excessive screen time is a key factor related to poor nutrition and decreased levels of physical activity, which are Action for Healthy Kids' main focus areas. It's a negative influence on school performance, and it exposes kids to all sorts of harmful marketing, particularly for those unhealthy, unnutritious foods that are always in all the ads. And the research shows that for each hour of television viewing per day, children consume an additional 167 calories. It shows that playing video games is linked to children being overweight or obese, and that video game playing increases food intake. Adolescents with a television in their bedroom spend more time watching TV and report less physical activity, less healthy dietary habits, worse school performance, and fewer family meals. Research also shows that reducing screen time can help prevent childhood obesity. Kids who spend less time watching TV in early years tend to do better in school. They have a healthier diet, they're more physically active, and they're better able to engage in schoolwork in their later years in elementary school. So let's talk about Screen-Free Week, which is a great initiative to get the conversation going at your school. Now, Screen-Free Week is an annual international celebration when families, schools, and communities pledge to swap digital entertainment to explore life beyond the screen. And instead, they read, they play, they think, they get creative, they get active, and they spend more time with family and friends. Screen-Free Week is about taking a break from digital entertainment. You can still use devices for work or for school, but you turn off TVs, video games, smartphones, tablets, and computers when work and school are over for the day. Now, International Screen-Free Week is a program of the Campaign for a Commercial-Free Childhood. It's held in April or May each year. This year, May 1st through 7th to be exact. But you're not really restricted to that. Really, your school can conduct your own Screen-Free Week at any time that works best for your school community. So the Campaign for a Commercial-Free Childhood has a great website with tons of resources, including an organizer's kit, all sorts of handouts and fact sheets, pledge cards, activity logs, and lots of ideas and tips. And many of the things that I'm sharing today come from them. They say that there are 3 essential components to make your Screen-Free Week successful, and they really do make a lot of sense. Number 1, make it a celebration. You really don't want to market Screen-Free Week as something that people have to suffer through or something that's going to deprive them. You want to make it fun. Number 2 is to build partnerships within your school, within your district, and in the larger community if you can. Number 3 is to make it last. So, ask yourself, what's the goal of Screen-Free Week? Is it to get folks to turn off their screens for just a week? No, not at all. It's really to encourage people to try living without screens for a week so that they'll reconsider the place of digital entertainment in their lives and so that they'll make long-term changes for a healthier, more satisfying life. So during the week, you want to find ways to highlight those activities that kids and adults can do in the long term and urge people to explore different interests and activities that they're going to want to keep doing when Screen-Free Week is over. So most of the tips that I'm going to give you for organizing Screen-Free Week are really good for elementary school events, although some of them do apply to older kids. But then when I'm done, Lori and Lauren are going to share an initiative that they did at the middle school level, so you'll get to hear, get some tips for all different levels. So your first step to organize Screen-Free Week is to meet with your school health team to create a plan for the event. You want to give yourself plenty of time to build partnerships and promote the week in advance. If you don't have a school health team, this is a really good initiative to pull people together on, form a project team, and ideally that could turn into something else that works on other initiatives after Screen-Free Week is over. So get your school staff on board, including your principal, teachers, and consider any staff that regularly engage with parents. Get your PTO or PTA on board to promote the event and get the word out. If your parent organization can co-sponsor the event with your school health team, that's even better. You'll have even more credibility. Try working with local businesses. They can help you provide discounts to students who show a signed Screen-Free pledge card. And then work with district leaders religious organizations, and even community groups, if you can make it a district-wide event or even a community-wide initiative, really that gives it a lot more power. So a week without screens may seem strange or even scary to the children and families you're trying to reach. It's important to help them get ready for the week ahead of time and to think about it in advance. Some families may embrace it happily and they won't need much support, but others will. So you want to share information with parents about why reducing screen time is so important. And in schools, engage your classroom and engage your school community in activities that will help them commit to the week in advance. What you do here will really vary depending on the age of your students and how many other classrooms are involved. You can brainstorm ways with kids, things that they can do instead of watching TV or playing video games. How about asking them to write or draw about a screen-free activity? Pledges tend to get younger kids excited, and also reading books about activities that kids can do outside is a good idea. Have a school assembly the week beforehand to get people jazzed up about the idea. And then for older elementary school students and middle schoolers, give them some information and teach them how to be media literate. You can ask them things like about the ads that they're seeing. You know, how many of the ads are trying to get you to buy things that you really need? Who's paying for the ads? And what are they doing to get your attention? You know, did you see ads where you didn't expect them? This type of thing really helps them to think more critically about the media that they're seeing. It's a really good timing if it goes with a screen-free week. And then send home newsletters with countdowns to the week, with lists of activities that can be done for families, and with the activity logs so that they can see what their expectations are in advance. Now, families and parents are really critical to the success of Screen-Free Week. So you want to encourage them, one, to track their screen time in advance so they know where they're starting from. You'll find links to a tracking chart in Game On that you can send home. You can tell your parents to make it a game. Put a bunch of screen-free ideas in a jar, and then whenever the family would typically watch a screen, pull an idea out of the jar. Suggest they try new hobbies. Replace screen time with something more active. Join a club, discover a new talent, or sign up for physical activity class at their local rec center. It's a good time for them to look around the house and think about declaring some screen-free zones once the week is over, and limiting screen time to certain rooms in the house. I want to try to pick places where everyone is together, like the family room. And ideally, they should think about keeping screens out of bedrooms completely. Screen-Free Week is also a great time to eat family meals together so that kids can learn how to reflect on their day and share stories, tell jokes, talk about what's going on in the world. It is often during family meal conversations that family stories and family history get passed down from generation to generation. And really important thing, family meals can ensure the kids are eating healthier. When they're screen-free, a lot more attention is paid to the nutritious value of the food oftentimes. So get the word out to parents and families with flyers and automated phone messages, school newsletters, social media, handouts and weekly folders. You want to use multiple channels to reach as many parents as possible. So then during Screen Week itself, work with teachers to pass out pledge cards and physical activity logs and other resources to help students set goals and track their activities. Promote participation with daily announcements in a variety of classroom or school-wide activities. ScreenFree.org has collected lots of ideas for activities from schools across the country. Bury the Tube is a mock funeral for a television set. Think about doing a student debate about the pros and cons of screen entertainment. And consider family events like game night, sports night, or cook together night. How about a challenge to your principal to dye his or her hair green if enough kids participate? So you really want to try to have fun with it. That'll get kids excited about it and looking forward to it again. So in my children's school, a long time ago, we made it into a competition. Every child that went 7 days without screen time, and then also the class with the most participation, all got excused for an extra recess at the end of the week. And they really liked this because they felt really special. You got to be pulled out of their class and go outside. And so, you know, they felt like they had really accomplished something or getting rewarded for it in a healthy way. So you want to celebrate your success too. Be sure to use non-food rewards and keep your celebrations healthy so you won't give mixed messages to your students. You want to recognize not just the student achievements, but you also want to recognize all the volunteers that helped you put on the week. So remember, before I turn it back out to, or turn it to Lori and Lauren, remember the goal of ScreenFree Week is not to get the kids to turn off their screens for just a week. It's really to help them find inspiration to reduce screen time on a regular basis. And you can send home educational materials to parents. You can host periodic challenges and family education events throughout the year to keep attention focused on the issue. Or you can take inspiration from the students in the South Orange Maplewood, New Jersey district. After completing a very successful ScreenFree Week years ago, they wanted to keep it going. The kids wanted to keep it going. So school librarians designed the ultimate ScreenFree Week challenge that's been going on successfully for 10 years now. And this challenge encourages students to turn off their screens during the school week for the entire school year, starting on Sunday evening and then ending Friday after school. And each student gets to pick the level at which they want to participate, and then they fill out a pledge card at the beginning of the year. So at the gold level, there are no TVs, video, or electronic games at all between Sunday evening and Friday afternoon. At the silver level, they're allowed 30 minutes total per day, and at the bronze level, 60 minutes. And so the student pledge cards are displayed in the library by grade level on a chart, and participating students are allowed to borrow one extra library book per week since they have more time to read. And then at the end of the year, a school-wide celebration takes place, and students are given a gold, silver, or bronze certificate and trophy. So that just sounds like a really great event, and it's exciting that it's the students that wanted it and demanded it after their first ScreenFree Week. So I am now going to like to introduce Loria and Lauren Rigney. They were originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and they've been lifelong friends. They reconnected back here in Colorado with careers in marketing and communication just as they were pregnant with their first children. And their oldest children are now 13, and here they are sitting on the West Middle School's Health and Wellness Committee together, doing their best to give back to their community and raise healthy, happy kids. And I'm very excited. They're going to tell us about the West Middle School Unplug Challenge that they organized. So I'm going to turn it over to Lauren, and you can take it away.
Hi. Thank you for having us, Carol.
It's our pleasure.
So this year at West Middle School, the Health and Wellness Committee decided to focus on the mental health of our children and our community around screen time and technology. And screens, as you know, are an integral part of our society, for better or for worse. And what we're noticing is that adults and children alike are addicted to screens, and we're observing that despite how connected we are digitally, we're becoming more disconnected in real time. It seems like everyone's on their phone to pass the time instead of making conversation with someone standing next to you, or observing or interacting with the world around you. You have your head down in your phone. And it really seems to be only the tip of the iceberg. So what we were really hoping to do was simply start a conversation with not only our students, but the entire community around technology, and hopefully create some sort of healthy roadmap for our kids and parents to thrive in this technological age. At West, we were so fortunate that our principal, Kate Burgles, and the entire West staff got behind this initiative. They let us put together a comprehensive program and really did their best to help support it. So now I'm going to turn it over to Lori, and she's going to give you an overview of how we rolled out the West Unplug Challenge.
Thanks, Lauren. So we kicked off our Unplug Challenge in November, and by doing so, we started by hanging banners in and outside of the school. Our particular banners read, West Middle School challenges you to unplug. And then we also hung posters throughout the school, just with thought-provoking statements such as look up, disconnect to connect, or turn your lens outward, just everything along those lines. And then at the same time, we showed a documentary film, which was called Screenagers, and this film documented both the progression and effects that young adults face in today's world of all the technology. And we also offered this film after school hours to both the parents and the children. You know, a higher percentage of adults came to this showing, but that same week, we also broke the film into 20-minute segments, and these were viewed by all the students in the middle school during their silent sustained reading class. And what the teacher would do afterwards is ask them some follow-up questions and then gave them challenges each day for that week. So we did like a make eye contact Monday, a text-free Tuesday, a walk and talk Wednesday, think about the effects Thursday, and a phone-free Friday. And then we also, throughout the year, provided the teachers with just some public service announcements just to spark further conversation among the students. And then during November and December, we focused on some holiday challenges where, you know, the teachers presented some challenges over the Thanksgiving and winter break. And some of them were, for example, such as like a phone-free outing, and this would be where you could go ice skating or skiing with the family and leave your phone at home and then, you know, just reflect back on what that felt like. And then in this past February, we put together a technology panel of experts where we invited 3 guest speakers to come in to address parents and teachers, no children at this particular panel. And one was a technology expert, and he educated the audience on different applications to be aware of that kids are using and applications parents can use to better monitor their children's screen time. And we also had a lawyer come in who specifically specialized in juvenile cases. And she educated us on legal issues that have come up repeatedly with teenagers and technology. And then our last speaker just discussed some of the neurological effects technology can have on the brain, and she illustrated some of the positive and negative effects, you know, our community is facing with this increase of screen time. And then at the end of this month, at the end of April, we're going to wrap up the year with a legal expert who will come in to address each grade separately. So he'll address 6th, 7th, and 8th, and just discuss some of the legal responsibilities that come with having a cell phone and just some of the legal issues that can present themselves when technology is not used appropriately. And now Lauren is going to talk to you just about the outcome of this year, some of the challenges we faced, and some of our goals for next year.
Well, as far as the outcomes go, this was our first year implementing this particular initiative, and we did what we set out to do, which was start the conversation and offer up insight and resources from experts to our community. Some of the challenges we face is, you know, lack of follow-up at home to implement these tech-free challenges over the holidays or during the week. It's also difficult to create impact when cell phones are permitted in school and are allowed in certain classes. So, you know, next year we have the goal to have more interactive challenges with the kids. Perhaps have them leave their cell phones in their lockers during certain times, or even have everyone leave their phones at home for a day. After hearing about ScreenFree Week from you, Carol, it seems like a perfect thing to implement at West. So we'll be looking at those materials for sure. We'd also like to make the kids more accountable for the Unplug challenges, and it would be nice to maybe integrate a writing assignment asking students to reflect on their tech-free time with their friends and family, you know, in a piece of writing. Of course, we'd love to have more dynamic speakers throughout the year to address our community. Another area that we think would be interesting to look at is the physical effects of technology on the body, like vision, posture, your hands, your fingers. I think it would be really nice to offer a movement piece to counter some of the damaging effects that we're feeling of just being on our phones so much. Overall, we just want to keep the conversation going. Technology is not going away. We all need to find a healthy and constructive way to integrate it into our daily life while still being mindful and engaged with the people around us in real time. So that's it.
Well, gosh, thank you guys so much. I just love all those posters, and if you guys, audience, are watching, all those are little samples of the posters on the slides that they put up all throughout the school, and I just think they're really, really interesting. I know when I did well, it was called TV Turn-Off Week when my kids were young, and of course now it's morphed into something much bigger because technology is so much bigger. My kids are in college now, but I was really excited to learn about what you guys are doing, and I really appreciate you guys sharing it. I just want to say about the movie Screenagers, that looks like a really, really interesting thing that you can bring to your school. It's an award-winning documentary that explores the impact of screen time, and it really offers some solutions on how to help kids find balance. It is not something that you can see online or in theaters. It's really available for schools and community groups to screen for a fee, and you can do it either as a fundraiser or as a special event for your community. So if you have an interest in that, I definitely encourage you to go onto their website and find out more information about bringing that to your community. And that doesn't have to be your school. It can be a church that brings it in, or a rec center, really any organization. And then there's another resource that Lauren and Lori shared with me, an article about what happened when 19s gave up their cell phones, and on today.com. So that looked like it would be good too. And we will share some of their information and some of the outlines that they gave us also in the follow-up email. So again, thank you guys very much. I am going to, now I know we are just about out of time, but Denise is my colleague at Action for Healthy Kids. She's kind of been looking at the back end here. Denise, did we get any questions come in? I think we might have time for one or two brief ones before we close for the day.
Sure. Hi, Carol. I think you guys had a really thorough presentation. We have one question that came in, and I think any of you could probably take this question and answer. This is from Joanna. How do you feel about reading books on a device like a Kindle, is her question.
Huh, that's an interesting question. That's a good question. You know, I don't really have an answer to that because I'm not really an expert in the, you know, kind of in the neurological effects, and like, you know, and maybe Lori or Lauren, I know you had a neurologist, I think, come as one of your panel. Did they talk about that at all?
Yes, she actually did. I think there are certain screens that you can, backgrounds that are better in terms of like stimulating the brain, and in terms of recommending you stay away from a Kindle or something like that like 2 hours before bed, because it stimulates the brain and the mind, and it makes it difficult to sleep. But other than that, and Lori has something to add. One moment.
Sure.
I just wanted to add, I know there are glasses now that have come out, and they're recommended. They kind of take that certain light away that overstimulates the brain. So when kids are playing, whether they're playing games or video games or Kindle or the computer, it helps take some of that away as well.
Interesting. So you wear these when you are looking at screens, and so it helps eliminate some of the bad effects. Oh, that is very interesting. And
so they're available, on Amazon.
Mm-hmm. You know, and I had not heard before you put it in your presentation about, you know, you're talking about doing some movement to counteract some of the physical damage that screens do. So I really did learn a lot from what you guys are saying. It is so much more now than, like I said, I did TV turn-off week. So there's a lot more to learn, obviously, for all of us. So anything else, Denise, or is that all?
No, that was it. I think you answered that pretty well. Thank you.
As well as we could. Yeah, well, thanks. I'm glad that Lori and Lauren were here. So, well, that really concludes our webinar today. Again, thanks very much to our guests, and thanks also very much to our audience for participating today in our Wednesday Wellness webinar. A follow-up email, again, with the recording and resources mentioned throughout the webinar will be sent out in 2 to 3 business days. And in the meantime, please stay up to date on success stories, health tips, physical activity games, volunteer opportunities, and more by following Action for Healthy Kids on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Sorry, I'm laughing now because these are all on screens, aren't they? But still, follow us and learn more about how you can help your family and your school be healthier. Happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining us, and please be well.